April the 17th, magnolias. The end of March and the early part of April is the peak time for magnolias. Whereas March was dominated by the early small magnolias, such as Magnolia siligiana and Magnolia stellata, now a whole host of small, large pink, white, pink, purple, or even yellow magnolias start to be seen, many accompanied with developing leaves. The Savile Gardens is still the best place to become acquainted with the diversity of these trees, but the streets of London are also a rich source of different species and cultivars. White magnolias encountered are often one of the following: Magnolia denudata with its lemon-scented buds, Magnolia sieboldii, Magnolia sinensis, or possibly Magnolia globosa. All these have flowers with red centers. Magnolia stellata is the most ubiquitous and a firm favorite in many small gardens. This is partly due to its ability to flower at such a young age. White forms of Magnolia solangiana, such as Linnaea alba, are also very popular. Magnolia cobus has white flowers and is often in bloom on the first day of the month. This tree was first introduced by Charles Marais, who was a collector for the famous Veitch and Sons nursery at Coombe in Surrey. He is said to have travelled 500 miles in Japan, searching for one particular fir tree. After being caught in a particularly heavy thunderstorm, he also once had to walk 34 miles back to his lodgings. On yet another occasion, he returned to his lodgings to find they were burnt down. His benefactor, Sir Henry Veitch, was reported to have commented that he was enthusiastic but lacked staying power. Examples of pale pink magnolias seen now are Magnolia lobneri, Leonard Messel, Magnolia veitchii, and Magnolia dawsoniana, and even more pink forms of Magnolia solangiana. The former tree is worth looking out for in collections. Its flowers are a pale rose color inside and purple on the outside. It also stands out as its flowers are held horizontally. Dark pink magnolias to be seen now include Magnolia Savile, Magnolia liliflora, and Magnolia Susan. The famous wild magnolia of the Himalayas, Magnolia campbellii, is also now in flower. Yellow magnolias include the cucumber tree, Magnolia acuminata, which is the tallest of all the magnolias, reaching almost 26 meters at Kew. Magnolia tripetala is called the umbrella tree on account of its umbrella-like leaves. Magnolia Elizabeth is a primrose yellow, and Magnolia delavei has one of the largest of all tree leaves to be seen in London. A little later than most of these trees, the highly scented Magnolia cordata and Magnolia hypoleuca come into flower. Crabapples. It is also now time for one of the most beautiful of our native trees, the wild crabapple, Malus sylvestris, to come into flower with its raspberry and cream coloured flowers. Truly wild crabapples tend to be small trees with round, dense crowns with not so many flowers as domestic apple trees. Orchard apple trees also tend to have more hairy leaves, and the flowers have a woolly calyx, which crabapples do not. Even so, identification is not that easy. Good places to look for wild specimens are in woods and along ancient hedgerows, where they may have been originally planted as a subsistence crop. Our wild crabapple is a parent of the domestic apple and is still used as a rootstock when grafting new varieties. The sour juice extracted from apples was called verjuice and was used, amongst other things, to treat scolds. Popular crabapple hybrids in our streets include Golden Hornet, John Downey, and Butterball. Wild crabapples are the least abundant of our native trees, often found singly within woods, yet all the more attractive for that. They were very common in Epping Forest in the 16th and 17th century, and are said to have declined due to increasing shade. In the past, the apples from these trees were revered and had magical associations. The body of King Arthur was said to have been borne to the Vale of Avon, or Vale of Apple Trees, where he continues to lie till England is in need.